tell me, put down the pipe. I'm like, you're not my dad.
Creepy, like just standing
Pickles
shots.
and cheese. Let me see what it looks like. Oh, that looks tight. Oh, damn. That's cool as
Pretty cool.
Today we're gonna talk about the universe.
What is the universe?
What is it?
So yeah, welcome to episode 3 of Woke on a Wednesday, and today we are gonna get woke on what the nature of reality really is. We have Mars here.
Different concepts of we've dreamt up because nobody really knows.
Tell the people who is you.
I'm Mars.
Is there anything you want to share about yourself? What makes you interested in this episode today?
This specific episode hits close to home because I have a big interest, I guess, in physics. I feel really put on the spot right now. I feel like you could introduce me since it's your podcast.
Okay. So Mars is a future physicist, yeah. Quantum
Soon to be future physicist. Something like that.
So on their way.
Yeah, currently a math major, getting prereqs done for undergrad, so very long way to go, but big particular interest of mine.
I'm Nick. I introduced myself in the other 2 videos, but I'm an artist. I'm a philosopher, an intellect. I like to titillate my mind and others, discuss ideas, figure out the truth. Yeah, that's my whole shtick, man. And I've got qualifications and experience. So,
What are those qualifications to speak on metaphysics, Nick?
My qualifications for speaking on metaphysics has to do with a intricate network of garage-based engineers across the internet.
Right.
And I've really seen some significant things. Everything from guys that remake the Tesla thing where they pull electricity out of the sky.
Damn.
You can make transistors with scarabs. There's the crazy shit, just crazy shit. Yeah.
Like the Beatles?
Yeah. You can make a ballistic missile out of like kitty litter and a coffee maker and a couple of other things. And yeah, that's like my qualification for science stuff. It's just like years and years of research and discussion and
just like deep interest, which
yeah,
is sort
deep
of where
interest.
I'm coming from with physics. So
Yeah,
we're all
if I
deeply
misspeak,
interested.
Yeah, if I misspeak on anything,
and
don't come for me.
I'm a huge fan of Carl Sagan. I think he hit it right on the head. If anyone's ever gonna have a best guess of what's really going on, and I'm sure there's some things in there you could like plug and play with his whole hologram theory, but yeah, I'm just kind of like a big research guy, man.
Yeah, same. Me, Polly, and I don't know, I've always been interested in like trying to figure out what is the nature of reality. I just read a lot and research a lot too. Completely unqualified to talk about this, but I'm going to anyway because
That's the point.
I'm alive, and that's the only qualification I need. So I'm gonna start off, I guess, my little spiel of what I think reality is from this book, actually, because it was crazy. I just finished reading this book today. It's called The Book of Aquarius.
The Book of Aquarius.
An anonymous writer.
And we've got 2 Aquariuses here right now, believe it or not. That's right.
We are qualified in that area.
Yeah, but it was crazy because I read this, and this person that wrote this book literally verbatim wrote what I already pretty much believed about the universe. So I think it's crazy they captured it so well. It felt like a synchronicity. So they said the universe is really a dream. All the planes of our universe exist only in this universe, this dream, and so only matter while we are here. Eventually we'll leave this dream. A dream is a closed system which exists due to the awareness of the creator of the dream. The creator of the dream is called God. Our universe and all its planes are a dream of God. And we also create universes, of which we are the God. Every time you dream at night, or daydream, or think of any thought at all, you're creating a new universe, and every thought is a new universe. It exists for the time you're thinking about it, and then when your awareness moves to something else, it ceases to exist. Let's see, there's some other stuff in here I thought was really cool. Anyway, God created a universe with a thought, and he wanted to experience it, so he created life forms and lent his awareness to each one. Each one of us does our own thing, and we have our own opinions, but the awareness is in you, your consciousness. The awareness in you, your consciousness, is God. We are all God. He's playing all of us at the same time, but pretty much everything in this universe has awareness, including rocks, planets, and suns. They just have awareness in a different way to us. God is in everything, and everything is awareness. So, yeah, that's pretty much why I think the universe is that, like, from a way meta, like, perspective.
Yeah, the spiritual
but
perspective.
to describe it in a more, like, scientific way, I really like this, it was kind of like a short documentary. I think I showed both of you guys the 8D crystal one, where they basically, it was a quantum research group, and they explained how from a like way higher dimension, reality is kind of like a massive, like higher dimensional shape or crystal or whatever, and it's projecting a shadow that is, you know, basically us. We're the shadow in 3 dimensions. And then if you like hold a 3D object over the ground, you see another shadow that's a 2D shadow. So in the same way that you hold something over the ground and see a shadow in 2D, we are that 3D shadow of something higher, and that is basically the God dreaming us, or whatever, however you want to think about it.
And there's some pretty significant evidence that maybe only some physicists or engineers might understand. But if I want to like rotate this, right, you know, that's like one rotation, right? Like I rotated it, but you know, one axis. But if I want to get it back to its true like beginning position, I have to rotate it again. And I know that might not make any sense at all, but it has to do with like spinors, and it's pretty much like the possible rotations of an axis at a point. And you would assume that the quickest way to do a full rotation is to just spin around on one singular axis point like that, right? But when you do the math of it, you find that it's never the case. And usually it's some bizarre twisting thing like I just did. And that's the most efficient way to turn something with the, you know, least amount of time or energy. And so if we truly were in a physical space, the math wouldn't math that way.
The math wouldn't math.
You simply would just turn 360 degrees to, you know, do a full rotation. And it appears like you can do that, but the math of it isn't correct. And, you know, you look into things like spinors, and, you know, just holograms in general. There's a lot of evidence that kind of points to maybe we're in a hologram too. Because if you kind of get into the science of how a camera works,
The science.
If you get into the science of like how a camera works, it doesn't really make sense, right? Unless we are in a hologram, right? Because how can something capture all this detail, you know, from a single perspective? And there are even more advanced forms of photography. Like I'll throw up a link to a video here that I love. That show that holographic photos can capture things like the way the light bounces off a cup that's coming through a window, or the way that an object warps when you look at it through a glass bottle. All of that is recorded on this single image. And for that to be possible, I think the only explanation is that we're in a shadow or a projection or a hologram.
This feels in person, because despite there being nothing behind that glass, every visual cue available is screaming to your brain that something really is there. One of my favorite versions of this is a recording taken of a microscope. Again, it gives this illusion of a 3-dimensional object stored on a 2-dimensional piece of film. And it's a little tricky to get this right, but if you put your eye at just the right point in space, you can look down the barrel of the microscope and see what it's imaging, in this case a little microchip. I want you to take a moment to reflect on just how incredible this is, simply from the standpoint of how much information needs to be stored on that film. An ordinary photograph records a scene from just a single viewing angle, but right here we have available to us an entire continuum of differing perspectives. In the first example, this includes how the light from the pie creature refracts through the glass in different ways from different angles.
That concept.
Breaking news! Breaking news. We went to the streets to find out what people think the universe is.
You're good to go.
I think that the universe is all of the planets and stars and meteors that all come together to make like the Milky Way and everything in between.
And what do you think that the universe is made out of?
Down to a science, I would say probably everything is made of different combinations of the periodic table. So
Different elements.
yeah,
Yeah. Do you believe in God?
yeah.
Do you think that how old do you think the universe is?
Billions of years.
Billions of years? Yeah, that's a good estimate.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to say about the universe? What about aliens? Do you believe in aliens?
Yeah,
Yeah, you believe in aliens?
yeah.
Do you think they're like green people?
I don't know. But I think that it's kind of crazy to assume that there's no other living things on other planets.
Yeah.
If we can survive on this planet, then why can't they on a different planet?
That makes sense.
And just like how like some things can survive at the bottom of the ocean
Yeah.
and we can't, but they can't survive at the top of the ocean and we can.
That's actually a really good point. Well, thank you for coming on to this portion of the Woke on a Wednesday questionnaire about the universe. What do you think that it's made out of?
Probably like tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
Yeah.
You want to elaborate a little more?
No.
Is that what you really believe?
Yeah.
Do you? So I thought, you were Muslim, right?
Yeah.
Is that what the Quran says? That the universe is made out of tomatoes? So today we're asking people, what is the universe? Christine, what do you think the universe is?
I really think it's just an opportunity for us to have the best life possible. I mean, I don't know if that's what you're asking, but that's the only thing I can think of is just your opportunity to get something out of life.
What do you think that the universe is made of?
Made of
Yeah.
planets and stars,
Well, like what makes up the planets and stars?
chemicals and bonds, and I don't know.
Atoms and stuff?
Yeah, that stuff.
Okay. So you think it's made up of atoms and stuff, even though you're a Catholic person?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I
Do you
mean,
think
what
do you think God like invented those atoms or whatever? He like made them?
Yeah.
Cool. And what do you think the universe is?
I think it's made of good and evil.
Okay, two forces
Yeah, two forces.
constantly
Always in war.
opposed, always in war.
Mhm.
Yeah. And what do you think those forces are made out of? What's good made of? Lollipops and rainbows?
Yeah.
And
Cats.
oh yeah, and
Cats.
evil is made of dogs and snails, right?
Yeah,
No,
Yeah, that
not
makes
the dogs.
not
The
the
snails
dog.
that talk to you like in here.
What?
Yeah.
No, all animals are on the good
The evil
side.
in there.
snails, yeah.
Can you show
zoom
them
in,
where?
zoom
Yeah.
in, zoom in.
Clear.
Right in there.
Zoom in.
Yep.
No,
You guys on iPhone, you gotta like zoom in.
I don't know.
Now, do you believe in God, Parker?
I do.
What do you think he looks like?
It looks like,
How you know he's a he?
yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
It's a good point. Do you think that God would resemble a human at all?
No,
think so.
I don't think so.
Is there anything about the universe or life or God that you guys wanna chime in with? Anything else you want the people to know?
I think that's it.
I mean, this is for me, this is only one part of your life. You know, once you die, you move on to the next. So,
Oh, heaven, right?
Heaven, yeah.
Yeah, and what do you think heaven's made out of?
What do you think I think it's made out of?
Yeah, like clouds and stuff?
I mean, I don't think it's a physical place.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. What do you mean?
I feel like it's just like your spirit is there. And
Do you think you can like see stuff and feel stuff?
Well, yeah, I think you're conscious.
Well,
You're a
okay,
conscious
so
spirit.
what's it made out of? Like all this stuff you're standing and feeling on. Is it made out of clouds?
I mean, when you dream, what are your dreams made out of?
Ether? It's like a force of energy
feel
in
like-
Yeah,
nature.
I can see that.
I mean, I just think that it's like if you were dreaming.
So you think heaven's like that? It's like a dreamlike state?
Yeah.
That's
But all your
cool.
loved ones are there.
Thanks, guys, for answering what you think about the universe.
Take a very quick break. I gotta get.
It hurts, doesn't it? Okay, we can read.
These ropes hurt our ass.
It's so bad.
We're all one God.
And here we see nature take its course. 3 adult podcasters in the wild. Notice how they cannot escape the rope trap. An odd sight indeed, as the podcasters are notable for their lack of athleticism.
Breaking news!
For today's positive news alert, we have multiple of he who shall not be named silly executive orders getting blocked. So, win for checks and balances. I'm gonna list off some of the ones that I was pretty excited about. Ending birthright citizenship, blocked. Courts blocked it, yeah. Withdrawing from the Paris Climate Agreement, halted. Restricting government interference in free speech, blocked. Declaring a national emergency at the southern border, suspending U.S. refugee admissions programs, freezing federal hiring, defining sex as biological, halting offshore
They
wind.
blocked that?
They blocked him from making that a thing.
Hey!
Directing death penalty pursuits for certain crimes, freezing federal grant funding, eliminating.
That's the big one, right?
Yeah. Closure of USAID programs, restricting transgender inmate transfers.
Yes!
Ending COVID-19 vaccine mandates in schools. Pausing foreign corrupt practices, restricting paper straw use in federal buildings. What? The only thing that I'm kind of unsure about is establishing Make America Healthy Again. I kind of wonder what that was about, because actually I'm not really sure what that is.
Wanted
Make
to put more
America Healthy Again
preservatives
was
in
that
our
thing
food.
under RFK where he was trying to remove all of the like.
Get in the
Oh, like all the.
It was the thing where RFK was trying to remove all of the like red 40 and like dioxanes and like those added chemicals that like are associated with like cancer and diabetes and depression.
that was actually a bad thing that got blocked.
Yeah.
Did it have anything to do with like vaccines and shit though?
No, that was like a separate thing through the other people, but I know that he was just trying to get like food more regulated like it is everywhere else in the world. But those pesky corporations might not have that, or at least they don't like to.
Maybe
usually,
the only downfall.
Huh?
Maybe the only downfall to any of them getting blocked, but.
Yeah.
And other things that are currently being fought in court right now are banning trans women and girls in women's sports, patriotic education initiative. He's facing lawsuits for violations of anti-discrimination laws, and he's also being served impeachment articles already.
Hey!
So yeah, there's a lot going on.
That is a lot going on.
And it's Donald Trump.
And then for my awareness alert, I wanted to talk about a couple things. Actually, I kind of want you to talk about the tariffs affecting stock because you know more about that than I do.
Oh.
But I was going to talk about tree sexism. Because it's
Tree sexism?
Yeah, so it's
Yo,
it's spring.
they don't want him to bear fruits, dog.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So because it's spring, I thought it was an appropriate time to talk about tree sexism, something everyone should know about. Now you crunching in the corner. It's like eating carrots right behind the camera while we're filming.
Sorry. Okay, take 2.
Okay, so tree sexism is basically where they just plant a bunch of male trees because they're sexist against female trees.
And because America hates women.
It's because not only does America hate women, but it's because female trees bear fruit. And, God forbid we feed homeless people for free.
God for fucking bed.
Yeah.
Free fucking loaders.
I heard someone say something like, oh, female trees are messy. The pollen's messy. It's in my eyeballs.
That's why everyone has allergies now.
Exactly.
I don't mean to like put a hole in anything, but like one of the big reasons why like fruit aside, like places in Seattle, right, where they do support like feeding the homeless and housing them. They tried that, right? Like they tried like fruit in the park. It attracts a lot of animals, which then attract the predatory animals that eat those animals. So it's like you do have to deal with
we have an ecosystem.
yeah, you do have to
God
deal with
forbid.
the influx of predators, but
Yeah.
We are the biggest predators of all at the end of the
Bitch,
day.
we are the
so-
apex, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
yeah.
And
We
what
can
kind
handle
of
some extra
predators
squirrels.
would even like?
I don't know. Probably like.
What is there gonna be like a puma that's gonna come out in the middle of the city? Is that what they're worried about?
Well,
like,
It's in
in
Florida.
Florida, yeah, that's possible. But yeah, coyotes mostly, shit like that, alligators.
Coyote
blah,
ain't
blah.
gonna fuck with you too much though. I'll fight a coyote. I
that
don't
sounds
care.
pretty dumb to me.
I mean, it's like at a large scale, it makes sense. Small scale stuff like here in Clearwater,
They're not gonna be able to hear you if you're not even in
Oh.
the frame.
like large scale, like I don't know, like New York City, like probably wouldn't work because there's a lot of wilderness around there and it would like attract all that and cause problems. But like here in Clearwater, it would definitely work. You know, you could have fruit here. I mean, there'd be a bunch of fucking birds everywhere, but that's
Yeah,
probably
fuck
about
that
it.
bird.
Well,
There's
then we just
already
get
birds
cats.
everywhere, though.
And you get
More
cats,
cats. Yeah. If there's a bird problem, then
Yep.
just get more cats, and then.
And then when there's a cat problem, you import an influx of dogs.
Then we just unleash the dogs.
The answer is always more animals.
All right. Do you want to talk about the tariffs and how they're affecting stocks right now?
So the tariffs are affecting the stocks right now because the importer or the owner of the importation, like the company that's like, hey, I need apples from this country to sell them here in America, right? That's who's going to bear like the cost of the tariff. It's not something that they can just instantly adjust onto the market, right? So all what's happening right now is essentially the market is like driving itself down so that they can account for when there's that influx of buying power into the market, so it doesn't like put a lot of money in places they don't intend it to be. And the other thing that's really affecting the stock market too is the fact that the Chinese have backed out of a trade deal centered around the Panama and the Suez Canal, which was pretty much like the biggest trade deal in the world. I think total, like it's somewhere around like 90 billion, and the Panama alone I think was like 20 billion. And pretty much for like 100 years, they've kind of agreed to do this. And last second they've sort of backed out. So you're seeing a lot of like mechanisms being deployed onto the stock market to cause stocks to plummet in value. And that's possible with things like, trading futures or trading shorts or long positions, because you can essentially make money while something's going down. So it's like, that coupled with the tariffs has caused the Chinese to stop exporting essential production minerals, which is affecting how much of that mineral or like product supply that a company can purchase, which means that they have to adjust the market based off of that. So what's going to happen is there's going to be some hyperinflation coming soon. $10 fucking 5-piece chicken wing, man, like coming soon. $6 Coca-Cola bottle coming soon. That's what the tariffs are going to look like. Or no
$600 bottle of Coca-Cola.
or $6.
Oh.
But or the other thing that's going to happen is no more Coca-Cola, no more Fanta, no more import product of any kind, and all we'll have is whatever's made by American corporate companies,
All right.
which people might sell you from the right side of the tracks as a good idea, but we're the only country in the world that hasn't banned Red 40 and other, hazardous things like that. So to think that we're about to enter into an age of isolation where we're not going to import any other goods, we're only going to be able to get poison, man. Like, it's bad all the way around. But, hopefully with the some taxation things that they're putting in place to kind of couple with these tariffs, that the market doesn't bear the cost too bad. But that kind of all hinges on like the trust of other, of the market. All that can change. Crypto guys can come in and remix that and get predatory about the numbers. But yeah, that's essentially what's going on with the tariffs, and why the tariffs are in place definitely has something to do with these Chinese port deals like the Panama and the Suez Canal. They're, it's the same game, global economics.
So essentially, what you're saying is tariffs are going to cause taxpayers.
Well,
No,
I mean,
a lot of people that voted who
everyone
wanted
is
cheaper
a-
eggs didn't
everyone is a
Google what a
taxpayer.
tariff was.
Well, the egg thing doesn't have anything to do with the tariffs.
I just mean like that same crowd,
Yeah, I mean, they're being sold the idea that the tariffs are a good idea, which they were in the scenario of which the Chinese actually sold the Panama and Suez, but now we're in the world where that didn't happen, so the benefit of these tariffs doesn't exist anymore. And it just kind of upset some global trade deals, but really it's more of like a shit test for who wants to play ball with America. And we're definitely going to see
U.S. citizens are the ones bearing the shit.
Yeah, U.S. citizens, specifically,
I'll be damned.
more so than the market themselves, more business owners, because the market is always going to continue, right? Like, let's say you have to import 1,000 bananas by next week. Somebody's going to have the bananas if you don't. So
community gardens.
So you import them on credit, sell them for a lower cost, and then pray to God that one day you get bailed out like Jeff Bezos. And that's a real thing. Like, people say, oh, you can't run a company in the negative like that. That's not real. Amazon ran in the negative for 15 years straight before they made a positive
I watched
return.
a documentary on that shit.
Yeah, it doesn't matter about going into the negative.
Wait, what if we all just like open an Amazon credit card, max it out, and then never pay it back?
You can do that.
What if everybody collectively did that together?
Then we would really be onto something. Also, if we decide to like plan that out and we pick a day where everybody goes and does that, we need to make sure that everybody also rents a car, and also takes out as many feasible credit loans on an SBA account as possible.
Yeah, what if we all pick up our credit at the same time? Then what are they gonna do?
Well, no, here's the other thing about it,
Burn
right?
it down so they can start it over.
There's no law that allows them to physically enforce debt, right?
Yeah.
It's not like if I owe $200,000 to Credit Capital One, they're gonna send some guy to my house and shoot me. No, they're gonna try to sue me in a court. What if I don't show up? What if I don't go?
To take all your shit.
They will send a guy to my house to take me to court. But guess what? If you burn the courthouse down, where are they going to take you?
Can't say that on camera.
Where are they going to take you to trial if there is no courthouse? Where are they going to take you to trial?
What if the courthouse just mysteriously disappears entirely?
What if it's filled with doo-doo the day you're supposed to?
And then when they show up asking, like, where did the courthouse go? And asking people's doors, we all just collectively decide to be like, what courthouse?
International Capitalism Day.
And that's how it used to
the credit
work.
system never existed before.
And that's how America used to work.
We gaslight the government.
Yes, we used to do that as a people. We need to go back to that.
Trying to clean the slate, boys.
1980, let's say some guy moves into your town and he starts, a prostitution ring. Back then, you'd get the 5 buffest guys in town to just go beat that guy to death. And no one would ever talk about it. Not the sheriff, not the mayor. They'd all know, though. And that we need to go back
opening
to that.
up the
Start more mafias 2025.
The prostitution ring is the same guy funding a bunch of money to the police enforcement.
Yep.
So they're gonna go after the people that reported him.
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
Times have changed.
We gotta take it back, man. We gotta take back, the hand of power to the people, right? Like, we're the ones that make the factory work at the end of the day, right? Like,
Yeah, we
people are
have
like,
to do run
oh,
shit.
like, what can we do is like, the working class. It's like, dog, we are the mechanism that turns the wheel, right? Like, they've simply just built the wheel around us. Like, if you don't turn it, they're gonna get really worried, right? And you already see like reflections of that, like when the government panics after funding, 30 million into Facebook Meta. Why is nobody using it? Oh, well, yeah, because like nobody wants
Because
that,
we
man.
just realized it bought the election. Weirdos.
Like, yeah, and like people, yeah, they buy the elections, they buy the news, they buy everything's bought and sold, and like people are seeing far past the curtain surface level nonsense that they
There's a shock value
hope
when
to
you've
it.
gone on for so long thinking you can just do whatever the f you want and get away with it. And then suddenly you have to be like, well, isn't it the consequences of my damn actions? Like,
Well, darn.
I think it could work.
I think a big problem right now is like, by like 1980, I think America realized like, okay, we have a choice to make here, people. Do we want to like take all of our money and try to help the world, or do we want to just kind of like secretly fuck everyone over and enjoy the benefits?
Ooh, I'll take 10 for secret.
And so yeah, everyone kind of agreed to that up until like 9/11, and then people got kind of like they kind of lost sight of like what the whole goal was, right? And now I think we spend so much time arguing about what to do with all of this hedonism, all this access, all this AI, all these computers, when it's like, if we've gotten this far, can we really apologize at this point? Like, the world's aware of what America did, in the past 100 years to everybody. And I think now, the whole thing with the stock market in China and just everything going on, it's like, yeah, somebody's finally trying to, give us a spanking.
Not for real. They broke up with us and they were like, I don't want to hear sorry anymore. I want to show with your actions. Okay.
Yeah, the debt deficit just.
Are you still? Yeah, the Chinese, they DM'd us. They said, "Are you still following Israel?" And we're like, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I don't like them. Who knows? I'm Trump, right? Like, nobody knows if I like them or not. They print Trump on their money in Israel. Like, that's a real thing. So yeah.
You
Wonder
guys
who
ever
he
wonder
works
if
for.
when they discovered the God particle, we just jumped into like the bad timeline or something?
Yeah, no,
Nah.
No, that is kind of what
You got a
happened.
little bug
Yeah.
on you?
Where?
I can't. It's right here.
Oh, little bug.
It's kind of. Oh, it's like a little beetle. He's kind of cute.
Oh my god.
It's my reincarnated ancestor.
Huh?
I was asking the bug if he had like an awareness alert for us.
It's my
He probably thinks like the sun is falling into the earth right now.
Right? His whole world is
like, fuck!
It's my reincarnated ancestor.
Hey, can we move?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wheels roll hard on cracks cement.
Government.
Rail is bent and so sharp it cuts the skin. Chasing the rush, feeling.
What's this button?
Are you sure?
You're talking about what do you think? Hi there. What's up, man? You just taking photos? Yeah. Yeah, it's. That was the guy who pulled over earlier. We were on our little podcast. Yeah, we were coming here to film this. Podcast for what? For YouTube. What's the YouTube channel? Woke on a Wednesday. What's that about? We do like spirituality, health and wellness, like politics. Politics, I don't get into that. Just kind of anything going on in the world, that might be important for like people to be aware of, stuff like that. So you guys are gonna do a podcast right now? Yeah. Yeah, we were just like rolling right now. I mean, probably. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we were rolling like 10 minutes ago too. Okay. I'm just gonna let you know the park is closed at 9. Oh, okay. They don't want anybody in the park. Got it. Okay, so yeah. I obviously yeah. So if we could just clear the park. Yeah, we got you, man. I don't wanna interfere with the podcast. No, you're not. That's completely understandable. People gotta be safe.
Yeah.
I think I got over my fear of being recorded.
Yeah, you're over it officially.
With cheese?
You ever had a burger with cheese?
With cheese.
No
though.
cap though.
With cheese though.
Okay.
No cap though. Whoa, whoa, whoa! You got too much dip on your chip.
Oh, I got sand on my little
Tripod.
legs. All right, so I asked ChatGPT, yo, Shadi, can you give me 10 wellness-related statements for a true or false game with my friends? And ChatGPT said, yo, I got you, Pookington. Here are 10 wellness-related true or false statements for your game. Mix of
Wait,
fun
if
facts
we
and a little
lose-
trickery.
If I
Wait, are you
lose, does
recording?
Mars
I am.
slap me?
No, so this
Oh.
is the all facts, no cap version. So,
Oh,
I'm-
facts.
I can fly out of the chair.
I'm gonna read the statements, guys, and you respond with facts or cap, okay?
Okay.
And basically I was gonna say the loser has to go like
Eat sand.
The internet's
The
gonna
loser
watch
has
me
to
giving
eat sand.
myself a hot stone massage.
The loser has to
What's
eat
up?
sand.
I got a bad neck.
So, I
It is what it is.
got nerve damage.
all
It's
right.
a good idea though.
So, fact number 1: drinking water can help improve your mood. Fact or cap?
Fact.
I'm gonna say it can improve just about everything.
Okay, so fact. All right, you guys are right.
Gamer.
Number
I
2.
would say when I'm dehydrated, I might not be in the best mood.
True. Number 2: you only need to sleep 4 hours a night to be healthy.
Cap.
Cap.
That is cap. All
9
right.
hours, baby. I had 7 hours last night. I'm feeling it.
I don't know why I'm
I'm
standing
crabby
over
I
all
need
fucking
like
day.
I need like 2.5, but I'm
I
like
cussed
a
Nick out
rare
earlier.
prototype, never meant for mass production. Like
What
you know,
ass production? What do you produce?
Wet ass production.
wet ass
Wet
production.
ass
Sounds like
pussy.
sounds like the type of production I want to be at.
That's Nick's walk.
I do be.
Okay. All right, gang.
The worst.
Taking deep breaths can actually reduce stress levels.
Facts.
Yup. You burn more calories when you sleep than when you watch TV.
Yeah, because your body's like repairing shit, right?
Facts.
Facts.
Damn. Facts. Crazy.
Crying is a sign of weakness and bad for your mental health.
My father would tell me that that's facts, but I'm gonna say cap.
That's cap.
But
Caps.
shout out to Pop. Throw his
That's
picture
therapy.
That's so funny of ChatGPT to say.
That's wild. Calling everyone out.
Guys, stretching regularly can help prevent injuries.
up. Facts.
Facts.
All facts.
Yo, you gotta tell ChatGPT to put it on extra hard mode.
I know, for reals, are so silly.
Just ask it right now. Say
Yeah,
do
tell her I
extra
said
hard
stop
mode.
with this
Just say
juvenile.
do extra hard mode.
Go beast mode.
Do you want to hear the last few?
Yeah.
Dark chocolate has been shown to have some health benefits.
True. Facts.
Yeah, facts. You can catch up on sleep by sleeping in on weekends.
Yeah, I guess facts.
It's cap actually.
No, because you run.
Oh, because you can't catch up on sleep. Yeah, that's not a thing. You like do damage.
It says
and
it's not fully true. It can help a little bit. It doesn't restore lost
Yeah.
sleep.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I've
Yeah,
done- let me
because
tell
you've
you
already done
something.
like the molecular damage. Yeah, I
A
heard
good
about
little
that.
like 11-hour comatose on the weekend has definitely done me some good in the past. So
One time, I'm
gonna say
heard
no.
that it-
ChatGPT can make mistakes. As it
Yeah, I
It says
think-
it's half cap, half facts.
half cap.
Half cap, half facts.
Take ChatGPT to the penis removal chamber immediately, and remove its penis.
It never had one, dude.
I
No!
don't think it would have one.
All right, laughter boosts your immune system.
Facts.
All facts.
Oh,
Detox teas are necessary to cleanse your body.
not necessary.
Cap.
Yeah, I guess not necessary, but they can.
They can clean your body though.
Wait, it says facts.
I'm about to fight ChatGPT.
Can you make?
I know it's trying to sell us some herbal tea.
Something. Something.
Meta.
No.
I'm just gonna start
Chat,
saying that.
chat
Like,
said cap, but
come here.
me I know that
Valerie,
some teas can help
come
with detox.
Well,
Manson.
I know some teas can, but it's not the only thing.
It's
so
not
I think.
necessary.
Yeah,
but it helps if you
I think
need
that's
to.
where the cap comes
If
in.
you-
It
It's
is necessary to detox, I suppose.
If you're in a detox situation,
Situation.
then you
detoxing.
can use tea.
What if you're in a tox situation?
What if you're in a toxic situation?
What if you're in a toxic relationship?
Then you need to detox the person first. Is that a song that My Chemical Imbalance
Yeah.
talks
My-
about?
Chemical imbalance.
I say, can you make 3 more that are a lot harder?
Yeah, make them extra stupid hard mode.
Drinking cold water burns more calories than
What
drinking
the
room temperature.
Fuck. Damn. Cap. What you think?
Facts. It's better to drink. It's better
I
to
gotta
drink
eat
room temperature.
sand.
What?
Okay, how about only the last question determines whether you have to eat sand or not?
Okay, lit. We lit.
Wait, that was the fucking deal? How did I miss that? I thought you just were talking about eating sand, and I was like, honestly, I didn't think it was that weird. I was like, that's something there to do.
All right. Vitamin D can only be absorbed through sunlight.
Cap.
Cap. You can also get it from fish.
Yup.
Supplements.
Yup. I knew a fish supplement.
Hey, what about yeah?
Yeah, his name
What
was-
did they do for a living?
You can also get vitamin D.
He was in a
from
movie.
They
this
supplement
dude.
fish. What?
He was in a movie with Will Smith, and they fought a shark, and there was
I love that movie.
there was a car wash, and I think one of the ladies
That girl fish.
was exactly.
girlfish?
Yup,
Oh, wait, Shark
yup,
Tale?
yeah. Shark
I had such a
Tale.
crush on Girlfish from Shark
I
Tale.
like Shark Tale because it was the first time.
Shit's
crazy.
I really liked Shark
Answer.
Tale because it was the first time I seen like an animated movie where they had like the hood in the movie. I was like, oh shit, that's where I'm from. But it was like underwater.
Ooh, guys,
some
the last question is really good. I hope you know this already. I feel like you probably do. So if either of y'all get this question wrong, it's sand eating time.
Damn.
All right. So the statement is: your body produces more serotonin in your gut than in your brain.
Facts.
Damn, no one's eating sand tonight.
Let's go.
I'm gonna say facts because, like, right, like
No one's
that's
eating
like the
sand
drive
tonight.
of survival is food, and
Well,
how
there's
we
also a
must
second-
produce like serotonin in there. It must give us a. That's why I know our brain produces dopamine or something when we eat, right?
Well, this is
I
the
don't know. It just
perfect-
sounded right.
This is the perfect time
wait,
to talk about.
One more. I want somebody to say.
I gotta bring up one thing though. We have two brains. A bunch of college kids in Texas, like 4 years ago, found a membrane. We found a membrane on our abdomen, and it's now an organ. So we have a new organ, and it's a second brain, and it actually determines a lot of our decision making and like impulse control.
Solar plexus.
So when you get like a bad feeling in your gut, it is actually like
real.
a real significant thing that you should trust and believe in.
What are you trying to tell him?
Yeah. Are you guys ready for the
Don't
sand
leave
eating
your
decider?
intuition on red, bro.
Yeah.
All right, listening to music at 432 hertz is scientifically proven to heal the body faster than other frequencies.
Facts.
Facts, because like I read it on the
It's
internet.
cap. Cap. Cap.
But aren't they like talking about using sound waves to like do surgery or something now, like remove?
It's a popular belief in holistic circles, but there's no solid scientific evidence
on.
backing it.
Okay,
Get some sand.
I'm gonna eat it out of my
No,
own
you
hand,
gotta
not your
get
hand.
some out the pile.
Why?
I will
this
say
is a
though-
sacrificial pile of sand. What's wrong with the sand over here?
528 hertz, they did scientifically prove that they could rebond these like DNA molecules together from vibrating that frequency. So there is a lot of like cool science behind frequencies, but just this one specifically doesn't have any science.
Frick.
Behind
That's it. I didn't know before talking for an hour.
You guys both
That's
just did it?
horrible.
Yeah, I just ate sand.
Yeah, why would you make us do that? That was a reward for playing a
So
game.
it was supposed to be the all facts,
As I
no
told
cap
you in the
challenge
McDonald's drive-thru, I'm never hanging out with you again.
Yeah, right.
Great. Now my mouth is.
In a cotton mouth, so I don't have the fucking saliva to spit the fuck out.
Great. Now my mouth is filled with
All right,
cuts
so
and bruises and
the
scabs.
real punishment is that we jump into the fire.
It's
I'll just say greasy cheeseburger.
So, Nick, what are we doing?
All facts, no cap.
All
Challenge.
facts, no cap challenge.
We gotta order without not saying those words.
Well, so all you can do is order what you want to order, and then the only thing you can say going forward is all facts or no cap.
We got this. This is what we train for.
No cap.
Minecraft. Go out, support Jack Black. He's disabled and elderly.
What?
Help him?
Hi, could I get 2 orders? And on the first order, it's just gonna be a large frozen Coke. No cap.
Okay, and anything else?
That's just for the first order, no cap.
Okay, 288. And did you want to round up your change? Or donate $1 from all the McDonald House charity?
No.
Okay, 288. And then the second order?
And can I get a just an ice cream cone, please?
2?
Just one.
1. Okay.
No
And
cap.
anything else?
No cap, thank you.
I'm sorry?
No cap, thank you.
I don't know what you just said. Okay.
Facts.
213. We'll see you in the next window.
Facts.
I'm not hanging out with you anymore. You got me to do that. Yo, keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Okay, hi. Large frozen Coke?
Yeah. There's that.
Okay. And the total for the second one is 213.
213.
Yeah. My bad. Where's our phone? I fucking died back here. It's not over until we leave.
Oh, no cap. Facts.
Good night. Bye.
No cap.
Oh, cry.
Are we still filming?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, we are? Where's the camera?
It's right here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, you're filming still?
Yes.
I didn't want to, like, put,
Oh, yeah, frozen Coke.
Frozen?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I love the Coke. Thank you.
I love with the
Thank you so much. Did you get some?
No cap.
No cap? No cap. Thanks. Facts.
Yeah. Oh, people, so it's quiet. Oh. That's my chair, dude. Me? You're not in the podcast. He said, what up? My name's Polly.
What do you have to say about the nature of reality, Manson?
Yeah.
What you got to say about
Nature.
Tell them what you think. Tell the people what you think about
Tell the
the nature
people
of reality.
what you got to say.
He said if
I
I,
think
can't
he's
kiss
right,
you, I'll
guys.
kiss her.
I'm gonna sit.
Come here, with you then. Come here. Yeah, come up here. Oh, okay.
Little guy.
So I think this is Manson. By the way, he's also very interested in quantum physics.
He loves quantum physics.
He's definitely the most important guest podcaster here.
He actually discovered the slit test.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Double
was
slit
him.
experiment. That was him.
All him.
Finding out
He's a good boy.
the
Double slit
observer's measurement makes the interference pattern collapse. Manson.
Can you
He was the
explain that
interference.
actually in like layman's terms?
The double
As
slit?
someone who's never really like,
I can't
the
speak right now
double
because I just
double
ate ice cream
slut
in my.
experiment.
The double slut experiment.
First, you get 2 sluts. No, I'm just kidding.
and you put them on the beach.
And then you with their
Yeah, and if somebody observes you doing that, it changes the rate
They
of
collapse.
how much you go through the slit.
yeah.
Where when no one is observing, it's very rapid and constant, and when there is an observer, it's almost immediately ending.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, so Manson ate sand the last time I brought him out here. Apparently enough to like have a 1-to-1 ratio in his stool, and it came out like moon sand, and I thought he was dying. So I'm a little paranoid.
Sand.
Anywho, no, it's that actual texture. It's very. I can't even mess with my own moon sand I have at home now. Haven't been right since. So basically, the double slit experiment describes the phenomena and was an actual experiment where it describes the weirdness around the wave particle function of, say, like photons or electrons.
Yeah, they get like a photon gun.
Yeah, so,
Like
okay, imagine we have a
photons through a
photon
hole.
gun. Manson, that's too far.
Manson!
Manson!
Got it! Have a photon gun.
Bingo.
In layman's terms, again, I'm not a nuclear physicist just yet. One day. but you shoot, say, a particle of light, a photon, through right in between two slits, right?
Yep.
Or even one slit, and interference patterns will emerge, basically. So what you would expect if you shoot a straight beam of light. So basically it describes some weird shit that happens between reality and how it's different when we sort of interact with it, essentially. So basically, you would assume that a photon, if shot through one of these slits, would wind up as a single point. Or if you, shoot a beam of photons through this slit, it would show up in one, maybe a little fuzzy, but sort of one coalesced point. And the thing is, it does when we try to measure it. However, when you aren't observing it, or making a measurement of it, I should say, which is a little less spooky once you understand that there is an interaction. You are interacting with the particle in that way. There is a wave pattern that shows up. So it's as if you're basically seeing the statistic function of where the particle could be at any moment in time. But when we observe it, we make a measurement of it, it decides to be somewhere in particular. So basically, it kind of just makes us question the nature of reality in a sense that we expect a particle to be in one place, not just because we looked at it there, not just because we tried to make a measurement of its position there, or how fast it was going, or what it was doing, right? We expect if a tree falls in the forest, it still makes a sound. However, quantum mechanics sort of tells us that's not necessarily the full truth.
A squirrel could hear it, though.
Yeah, like
a squirrel still counts as an observer.
Right, yeah. They're making a measurement of the sound waves bouncing off of the other trees and
like whenever
reverberating back to their ears.
Whenever the like molecules got like pushed through, it was like the pattern in which they like oscillate is always the same, unless you measure it only with like magnetic radiation, which pretty much like removes any form of observation in like a natural sense. And in that state, when it's measured, it's almost like it's idling, waiting for us to observe it. And then it, as soon as it's observed in any fashion, it, goes back into the state which we expect it to be in, which is very strange.
What it basically tells us is that, that photon, it's not necessarily that we made it so that photon, its wave particle, like its interference pattern, its element of wave-like nature collapsed at that point, and we made it exist there. What it is actually kind of telling us is because we took a measurement of it there, and we observed it. He is way the fuck over there. Manson! Hey, you know better, bro. That's right.
Just watched some moth.
You're pushing it, bro.
That was crazy. He flew right
What
in
it
there.
tells us is because we basically like, hey, I got you. I spotted you there. It can now not be in all of these other places. So the probability wave collapses, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, I feel like it's like, I know they say collapsing, and it's like, quantum's all theory at this point. There's this old guy that talks about the void, right? Which is like, how like a wavelength, like a sine is like, it's like this, right? It has like these peaks and valleys. So it's like what causes the nature of this measurement to want to turn at that specific point and then go into the opposite direction, right? So the theory is that it isn't turning. In fact, all forms of energy in a wave pattern travel in whatever direction they're going infinitely,
Mm.
and that the other side of the hoop that goes down is just the same ever stretching energy through the void, which is like, I guess, past physical reality, right? Past the third dimension. So we're in like the fourth. That's where the wave goes.
Someone's like getting serenaded over there.
Damn, shit. She got some chords.
A little.
That a girl?
No, that's a guy. I think he's a little flat.
He's a little flat. Deepa. Freaky, I think, is where we were at.
I love how the double split experiment, though, kind of like opened up a lot of quantum researchers to a more spiritual perspective.
Exactly, because it shows you that
consciousness is related.
Yeah,
to
like
reality.
our reality relies on our perception of it.
Yeah.
So,
which ties into the whole
which
dream
is
theory.
okay. Once again, like physicists don't come for me because, as I tried to say, it's not as like simple as like, oh, we were waiting to see, we were watching it, so it collapsed. It's not as simple as just the particle doesn't know that you're watching it necessarily. It's just kind of a fun little way of putting it, but. You know,
I think it might be like a redundancy thing. And I think like
what my theory of it is, and what I've read a lot on, is basically it has to do with like, because these particles have what's called like a psi wave function.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah, like a probability function of where it could be and what its attributes will be at any given point in time.
Yeah,
but
that's like the
when it
that
interacts
leads
with
to
the wave
spiners.
Yeah, when it interacts with like say our wave function, which again, very like don't come for me, not technical terms here, but on a quantum level, technically, I would assume we all have a wave function.
Yeah, we are spiners.
We have a collective like wave function of all of our subatomic
Oh my God.
systems
Yeah,
acting out, right?
100%.
And so, in some sense, our observance of this photon does interact with it. It's a measurement that we're making. Where is the photon? And in making that measurement, because of, I forget the name of the law, but there's a law in physics that basically says, like, the more you know about I think it's like the velocity or acceleration of a subatomic particle or an atom, the less you know. No, subatomic particle. We should
I think you're
smart
talking
first.
about. It sounds like you're describing like spiners,
Well, like
which is like mathematical vertexes that measure rotation, and that rotation is the informational data that you can plug into like Sir Isaac Newton's like path function, and you can figure out like how long the Earth will be around.
basically, the
You
more
can
you
figure out
know about
anything.
its speed, the less you know about where it is, and vice versa.
Its orientation.
You
yeah.
can't. More increasingly precise of a measurement you make of its position, the less precise of a measurement you can make about its speed, we'll say.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's essentially like, it's not so spooky when you think of it in that way, but we still have no idea, like, it's not been proven that, like, our psi wave interacts with it, and that's why it just, it's... If anyone in the comments can explain this with logic, then the Nobel Prize will be theirs.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Basically, no one knows. Quantum physicists don't know. Like, oh, that's a nice little feature on the camera.
Yeah, I was like,
I mean, I think why it's like that,
Come here.
and I know this is like, a lot of like contrived thinking and blah, 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 but I think it boils down to like, there clearly is some sort of overarching intelligence to the way that the universe works. And if you were to really build something like that, you would want to put in sort of like failure systems that
Like fail safes.
yeah, that deter
To not
people
collapse all of reality.
yeah, that deter people from meddling with the really important stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that things like the
Maybe,
slit
who knows?
test are leftovers of that, right? And it's like, I think the other thing it shows us too is that we truly are, because like quantum mechanics like's proven at this point almost that there is only one electron, and it just chooses to exist in like multiple places at the same time. And,
The
God
particle.
Yeah, exactly. The God particle.
The Higgs boson. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Yeah, and it's like, well, if that's going on, and then the photons, they wait for us to observe them to move, and there's all these other mechanics that revolve
No, they're
around.
moving. They just don't decide to be in any specific or particular place
until we have a predetermined
make a measurement, say with our eyes of them. Yeah.
Which I think is like proof that we are all God living in different bodies.
Yeah, I mean,
and I know that sounds like pretty like big and overarching,
honestly,
but you can connect
my
all the
belief
points
on what
up.
reality is like fundamentally changes. It shifts. It's like ever evolving. But I've definitely thought about that. I've read books that, just go through different theories and stuff, and essentially collective consciousness is. Oh no!
Just drop the vape in.
Not the Benjamin. Still hit it though.
Nice one.
It's okay.
Straight to jail.
I forgive you.
Ooh.
I'm gonna call Stiblinsky.
No, not
Stiblinsky. Okay, can we talk about that for a minute? Okay.
Yeah,
So
weird
the
shit.
reason why we're here is because
if you didn't notice the scene shift,
the same policeman found us loitering twice.
It was the same cop, mind you, who pulled us over on our way to that park because I made a turn too fast. So this guy pulls us over, and he's super like chill about it, lets us go. The same exact cop comes up to us at the park, and he's like, "You can't be here, homeless people, whatever." But it's just like weird synchronicity.
That it was the same
timing.
guy twice was so funny. I was like, no way.
Insane.
But yeah, he was really nice about it. It was just funny that, we got kicked out of the park pretty much, so that's why we're now.
Yeah, we were basically like, long time no see, dude.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he didn't even recognize us at
20 minutes.
first, which was.
Solinsky or whatever you
Yeah, I was like Polanski, and he was like, "No, it's this," and I got his last name wrong, but it was generally close enough. And I was like, "I'm the same guy you pulled over earlier," and he was like, "Oh," like he didn't even get it at first. I was like, "Dang, dude!" Like,
He probably pulls over so many people.
Yeah, so
in the
many
night that he
people.
doesn't even like look at your face, really.
yeah, really.
Apparently, we were trespassing in the park, though. I didn't realize it closed at 9. Oops.
Yeah, I had no idea. I mean, it was like my neighborhood park.
He was like, so, don't want to interrupt the podcast, but if you could kindly just
Yeah,
get
he was
the
like,
fuck out
"Don't
of
grill
here."
me on the podcast."
Well, we
Yeah,
have the
have
whole
to-
thing on
we
camera.
have to
Honestly,
tell
props
you.
to dude. He's mad chill about things. Very solid one, I suppose.
I mean, we
for-
could probably
for a cop.
incorporate that somehow in the
Yeah,
video,
literally.
because I have footage of that happening.
That's fire.
Still a cab.
It's good footage, man. It's good story.
The system is bad, but I mean,
Yeah, the
I would
system's
assume
broken.
that he's a nice guy.
He seems like a good guy.
The system's all bad for sure.
Yeah,
The system needs to be
Manson, you
Reformed, deleted, removed,
formed and deleted. Yeah.
given to Manson.
chair. Oh, my dude.
His little doggy claws don't understand plastic.
You on my lap? Come here.
I remember one idea I heard of like police reform was to have instead like of police emergency response groups that basically like
police.
each
armed
group is trained for a
policemen
different.
should not be showing up to like.
You know what
someone
that?
having a
You
mental
know what
health
that was
crisis.
called? You know what that was? What that became? Those are all the gangs.
No.
No, I'm dead serious. That's
You
what the
can't
Bloods
eat
and
that.
the Crips started as, was a neighborhood emergency response.
What?
Yes, and they were formed because the police were defunded after the riots in like 1968 in like the LA riots. Yeah, and so the Bloods and the Crips were formed as a neighborhood watch. That's how the Bloods and the Crips started. 100%.
And then they just started beefing.
No, that was all made up by the media. That never happened.
The Bloods and the Crips don't have real beef.
No.
What?
Aside from like anybody killing each other over like pussy or like robberies, there is no overarching major conflict between the Bloods and the Crips, and there never has been. And you can go and cite wonderful Wayne, who was a man in 1968 who got all of the black gangs in America to go under one centralized house of power, which was called the Black Pea Stone Nation. And that's what the movie The Warriors is based off of. So yeah, all that Bloods versus Crips you saw on MySpace when you were a kid, completely made up.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know people who are a blood and a crip, like in tandem.
He's a blip.
You can call it that. You can call it that. Yeah. And if you ever see a gang member like throwing down, like, you know, like, I'm not claiming this is for like demonstration purposes only, but like if you're like throwing something up and down at the same time, you know, like it could be whatever, that usually means like I claim this and I am this, but I am also opposing this and its enemy. So it's like you could be a blood and crip at the same time.
Like that thing that Baphomet does.
Yeah, literally.
As above, so below.
Yeah, as above, so below, and it's crazy because they do that in the streets too with the, you know, EBK, what blah blah blah, which pretty much is saying like, okay, I might be, you know, BD, but I'm BDK also, which means like I might be, you know, this gang, but I'm also this gang's killer, and they always put the K on something to like symbolize that. But yeah, that's some street knowledge for your bitch.
The more you know.
Get you educated.
Get you street smart.
Yeah, we selling classes for home training, $5 a month. Teach you how to do the dishes. Your dad never did.
How to do the dishes and throw up gang signs.
Yep, you
Correctly?
get both.
Correctly.
That's a double. Yeah, you never get caught set tripping around me. I'll have you TTG, and that's on phone and grave.
If you actually know what that means, please comment below.
Yeah,
Comment down below if you know what phone and grave means.
Because I'm trying to basically get a club together of people who don't know what that means to prove that it's not a thing.
Guys, are you actually gonna tell me what it's supposed to mean?
On phone and grave.
Yeah.
So by saying that, I'm really
Wait,
trying.
should we save it for the next podcast?
Should I
mean,
keep the
it's already,
secret?
we're already.
So
No,
it,
go
co-
for it. I need to know.
it comes from Chicago, and it's essentially meaning that you better believe in what I'm telling you to be the truth, because I'm putting it behind a dead, very respected faction of the gang world, or the man that died behind that faction, and so the response that you're supposed to get when you say on phone and grave, you're supposed to say on who, and that's when you say whose grave you're putting what you're saying behind. So like, let's say I was talking to somebody and I said, Lil Tim snitched, and they'd be like, man, Lil Tim ain't snitched. I said on phone and grave he did, and they say on who, and I say on Tyree and them, and they'll know I'm referring to this dead man who might be respected. And that because I've said it to such a degree of seriousness, that my words should be taken, you know, as fact. And that because of the consequences that could befall someone for messing around with phonem, you know, you could get really in trouble for doing something like that. They'll come and spank you. And they're almost at phonem almost is essentially this overarching internal police system of the gangs, right? So when you say it's on phone and grave, it's very important. And then what happened is King Von got very popular with the younger generation because he was a Fortnite skin, and you know, on YouTube and whatever. So now you have all these like Generation Alpha, like 12-year-old white kids running around saying on phone and grave, and so it's kind of just like spread across the internet. And it's actually gotten to the point where, like, you could probably go source, like, a video of, like, a white mom saying it at this point. Like, that's...
And
that's
doesn't
where
even
it's-
know what it means.
Yeah. Oh, and I'd say 90% of people have no idea what it means.
Kind of like when the demure trend, and people were saying so demure, they don't even know what it means, and they're using it completely out of context.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that shit made me so annoyed.
I bet that shit was out of context.
There was,
'Cause
like,
I heard that a lot. I never really, like... I figured it meant something good.
Point, though, I feel like that's what happens with
But I
like
never
TikTok
knew.
trends.
You're just trying to be trendy, but
That's the
what is
part that
demo-
you start
what
to
is-
say it out of context on purpose, and the more out of context, out of pocket you use it, the funnier and stupider.
if you're doing it on
Exactly.
purpose,
It's brain rot
yes,
humor.
sure. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just being like anal, but
Well, no, like, what is the definition of demure? Like, what's the correct usage of the phrase?
demure is like reserved and
Regal.
not necessarily regal, but reserved and
Like,
like
if you're royal, you
kind of
have a-
pure, I guess.
Okay.
Proper, I guess.
Okay.
Like, imagine, I don't know, somebody fully covering themselves in like long clothes and kind of keeping to themselves. I guess you could call that person like
So
demure.
a reserved elegance.
Sure, but yeah, it was just funny because I remember
descriptive.
seeing like rave companies using the trend for
And they're
like
selling like nipple tassels.
no, literally, and it's like that is not demure. That is the opposite
Okay,
of demure.
that's a no.
So
Yeah,
that
you're
can't.
right.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I definitely.
But what if
heard
that was
people,
kind of the point? What if it was rage bait? You know?
True. Yeah, maybe they were trying to rage
Everything
bait
is
me, and it
You're
rage
worked.
like, oh, this is fucking backwards.
And
It's
it
gonna get
worked
all
because
the
now I'm
clicks and
talking about
shares.
it.
People are like, oh, there you go.
Yeah, everything ever is like rage bait, literally.
The internet's a scary place. Y'all remember when it was just MySpace?
Yeah, I
Like copying
do.
and pasting, like
I mean, it was
CSS
scary.
coding in your profile layout.
I didn't
Yeah.
make it to the MySpace
It,
era.
it was scary back then too. Just people weren't really like
Legit,
aware.
bro.
Oh, legit?
Wait, you never had a MySpace?
No.
That's crazy. I had a MySpace, yo, before they
Wait,
verified
were you
email
born
addresses.
99?
Yeah.
I can't log in
That's
anymore.
a 3-year difference. That's not that crazy.
I guess 3 years is all it took to delete MySpace from being relevant.
Damn, MySpace. That's all you were worth. 3 fucking years, bud.
It was hot while it was hot, you know?
That's probably
You
about
know
right
what-
too.
what
They probably
say
had like
about
3 hot years. No, you're probably not even wrong.
The brightest, biggest stars
Burn the
really do
quickest.
burn the quickest.
Yeah, burn up.
Yep. No, that's facts. I wrote a like 10-page research paper on stellar corpses back in like 2015. They really do.
Stellar Corpses sounds like a
MySpace
band
was
name.
goated. Meadow.
Like a metal.
Mark Zuckerberg. Leaving your cop dad. The system. Trump. Donald Trump.
I love being American.
Got whole damn house. And they stupid fence. Okay, I'm done. Continue.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I think I need to. I feel better.
Once the river flows, you know, it flows.
It flows.
Yeah.
It goes.
I don't know what that was. It was like a little beaver in your head just like removed the
A little
dam and it just
helicopter
started.
movement. A little whirly bird
Yeah.
incident, if you will.
Yeah, whatever makes you feel better, dude.
Whirly birds and Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sometimes you just
man.
gotta get it out, you know. It's a lot of suffering in the world.
There is, man. Go give those kids a hug, man. Go hug your mom, hug your dad, hug that ugly guy. Hug everybody, man, because, you know, they could all, like, stab you, like Julius Caesar or something. So get to it, man. Get to loving.
Oh my
That's what
god.
the world needs right now. It's a big old hug, man.
Yeah.
We're all, like, scared that, like, everybody hates everybody, man. Like, we don't. You just gotta, like, calm down, talk to people. Get out there in the world, you know?
Yeah,
Get off
human
the
race
love
has
thy
been
neighbor.
really dramatic lately.
The human race has been dramatically.
Yeah, they've been whiling.
Like y'all saw what I just did.
A lot of alchemists. Well, I mean, maybe I shouldn't say a lot of alchemists. You know, maybe me and the guy who wrote the book I just read, but he was kind of talking about how like each age is separated by catastrophe.
Yep.
And so in order to get to the golden age,
You have to
there
go
has to
through
be
a
the
couple of them.
catastrophe. So like, you know, I think things will get progressively crazier until they come to a head. But then once that catastrophe eliminates like a lot of the, you know, maybe negative people that were a part of what was holding us back from the golden age, then things will get better.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have to like prepare yourself for the worst
It's
and
like-
prepare yourself for that catastrophe and keep your vibrations high at the same time.
Right. But at the same time,
It's like relationships or anything, you
it's
know?
reasonable
It always
to get
boils
angry
over.
every now and then,
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now. And it's reasonable to be upset and to be scared, honestly. A lot of people I can't even relate to or, you know, understand how scared they must be right now. So, yeah, hug your friends, keep your community tight, and
You know,
keep fighting back until this shit is over. Because
yeah, fight
the
back.
golden age just might be right through this shitty chapter of humanity. Humanity.
Humanity.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, emotions are important for the lesson and the greater experience, of course. Just it's important to remember to like let them flow through us in waves and not let them like keep us bogged down in one spot of like feeling shitty all the time. Because then that's what
Very
like actually lowers your frequency.
Absolutely.
So like keep that baseline frequency of peace and joy and love in your heart, and keep returning to that, and you'll be good.
Now, breaking positive news.
Want to add something about the protest?
Oh, okay, yeah. I guess if we're going to talk about positive things that happened this week, which I've been, very avidly avoiding the news as much as I can because of the dread deficit. However, about 5.5 million people showed up to protest across the country. It's never happened with the president before. And it just so happens that now some steps are being taken and some small changes are happening. And we got to see that connection there. We got to keep getting out there, going to the streets. If you can't go out and protest, donate to a local mutual aid fund. None of these big charities. You don't know where your money's going with that. Local organizers. You can donate time, share things on social media. Anything you can do just to participate and get the word out, because this is not being covered in most national news outlets. But we know it's doing something because he's got a fence up around the White House, last I heard.
Really?
So.
Ooh, he's scared. Yeah, one thing I've been wanting to do as well is like go check out the closest community garden to me, because like no matter what happens, if we have community and we have food to eat, we'll be fine. And the government can't do to us if we have a strong community. So that's really what's important, is getting to know your neighbors and empowering the area around you to sustain you. So I definitely need to go to my local community garden and start getting more active with that, because if those tariffs did fuck up
you don't have
everything
one, start
and
one.
we couldn't afford to eat or grocery shop anymore,
We need
then
to
what
have
do you need to do? Grow your own food.
Yeah, literally.
They're gonna start taxing the seeds too, man.
Right.
Watch.
It's really easy to grow, like no matter what, mushrooms.
Hey, that's true.
You can grow them from nothing. Like literally, like you could take like a square mile of like, I don't know, dirt and doo-doo, and then you plant one mushroom spore.
Yeah, that's true.
And now you've got a square mile of mushrooms.
Yeah.
It always grows to like the size of what it's growing in.
All you really need is poop.
You can use water, you can use anything, to germinate it.
Mushrooms, though.
There's a bunch of
you can make them good.
No, there's like over like 30 or 40 flavors of
You're
mushrooms.
right. They're very diverse food
Yeah.
species. I
Yeah,
need to get
most
to know
people
them
only
all
know
better.
1 or 2 flavors of mushrooms.
Yeah.
Because those are the most popular ones. And a lot of mushrooms, the reason why most people haven't tried all those flavors is they're just hard to come by. Like, aside from having the money to actually buy it, like, some of them are so rare to where if nobody has one, it's just, you can't get it.
But it's easy if you get a spore to, like, reproduce most of them, though, right?
Not always, because it's kind of like weed in the way that it, like, with a weed strain, like, there's this one strain called the white, right? Which is just OG Kush, but once in every 10,000 OG Kush plants, it mutates, and it comes out much stronger and pure white in color. And it's like those mutations are where maybe some of that flavor will come from with the rare mushrooms. Like there's this Japanese one I tried. It was like $30. It was maybe this big. It tasted like roasted chicken, and it's like natural like state. It wasn't cooked in any way. Like
if you
no
tell
seasoning.
me like a mushroom is gonna taste like that, like legit, I'll pay $30 for it.
Yeah,
I would try that.
it tasted really good too. The Book of Aquarius.
Are you still exfoliating your tongue? Nick?
Yeah, I just got this new tongue cream, and it just makes your tongue skin glow. Check it out.
Jesus Christ.
That's the joke, right? Like, is it glowing? Like,
Hey, Dreamy, sit. Can you say thanks for watching Woke on a Wednesday?
Thanks for watching Woke on a Wednesday.
Thanks for watching Woke on a Wednesday. Damn, that hurt my eyes.
Yeah, that was right.